Whenever I hear from or talk to a small business owner, often they want to run ads to see if they can generate more business or get more clients, get more traffic, whatever it is. And a lot of times they are starting in the wrong place. You've got to start with the very basics first, get those taken care of before you move into running ads and trying to pay to get traffic. In fact, most of the time when a business, if they're a small local business, which is mostly who I work with, we've worked with hundreds of local small businesses, service providers, local bakeries, local retail stores. The first thing you got to do is go through the marketing pyramid. So I want to talk about that today. These are the steps you should take to get started right from the beginning. So step number one is you need to define your brand. You need to understand what that is. Yes, you should have a logo. You should know your colors. You should know your brand personality. What do you want people to know about you and think about you when they hear of your brand? Okay. Once you have those things in place, then you need to know your who. Your who is your target audience. This is someone who, or this is the audience that you want to work with the most. Are you going after a premium audience? Are you going after a discount audience? Are you going after an emergency audience? Let's say you're a plumber and you love installing high-end, plumbing equipment, toilets and sinks and things into high-end bathrooms. Well, that's much different than the service provider who wants to be an emergency service provider when someone's bathroom's flooding. They want to come out and take care of that as quickly as possible. Very different situations, very different defined individuals of your target audience. Once you know your who, then it's important to identify and to talk about their why. You might have a why for why you went into business, but this is the why someone would pick you over your competitors. Why would they pick you? What's the differentiator? And if someone's in a hurry, you should make sure you tell people about that. So I think the basis of marketing is knowing who you're talking to and why they should care, and then telling them about it over and over and over again, just repeating yourself and saying, here's why you should do business with us. So that's step one in the marketing pyramid. Define your brand and then define your who and your why. Once you've done that, then it's time to say, okay, let's get on the search engines, at least at the most basic level, which is your business profile. So you can get your Google business profile set up. These are all free. Your Bing Places profile set up and your Apple business profile set up. I talked to a friend today. He's a physical therapist, and he's like, we don't show up on Apple Business or Apple Maps. And I was like, well, have you set up with Apple Business Connect? And he's like, no, I didn't know that was a thing. So make sure you're doing at least these three. You should get as many local citations as you can, register for any free accounts that are available. But these three are the kings. In fact, Google is the king of all the kings. And so make sure you have a Google business profile set up and established, get verified, do whatever you need to do, follow the steps Apple's going to give you. I'll do another video on how to optimize your Google business profile. There's some things you can do that are really powerful in doing that. So that is step two in the marketing pyramid. Step three is now get a website. A lot of people start with a website. I think a website's great, but if you have a Google business profile, people can find you even without a website. Almost 60% of internet traffic for local service providers is not going to a website. They're clicking on the information on your Google business profile. They're either calling you or getting directions to your location on that listing, on that profile. So now it's time to make a website, though, because people will research you. They want to make sure you are legit, that you do know what you're talking about, and that you have an established business. So creating a website, following the LaunchScape format. You can find that on our website at ryanspeltz.marketing and just search for LaunchScape. But LaunchScape is really a layout of how a website should be structured in order to sell. A lot of times websites are just informational. If you're a local service provider, you want to take a customer by the hand, lead them down a path so that they will do business with you. They'll either call you and ask for a free estimate or a free bid, or they'll click on a form and fill out a form or a little chat bot or something. Some way they're going to get a hold of you and let you know they're raising their hand and saying, I want to do business with you. So make sure you get your website and get it set up properly. Follow the LaunchScape format. There's also an article on the site called 24 Points to a Perfect Website. That is making sure you've hit all the marks so that you can be registered and show up on search engines. It takes time to do that, and it's called SEO, search engine optimization, but make sure your website is structured properly from the start so that you can do that. Now it's time to set up your social media channels. And honestly, you could do social media before websites if you wanted, but both of those come, about the same time. After you've set up your business, you've got your brand and your who and your why, your business profiles are set up. Now it's time to do social media and website. A lot of the younger generation research a company by going to their website or they'll go to their social medias and see what they're like. You don't have to be a social media personality, but you do need to show up there. So if somebody's researching you, they can go in and say, oh, okay, yeah, these guys are doing business. These are the things I'm looking for. They look like they're legitimate, and that's who I want to do business with. Next is build a list. I got to tell you, this is more important than you realize. One of the most valuable assets you will own as a business owner is your customer list. If you're not staying in touch with your customers and continually offering and telling people about what you're doing and the changes you've made in your business, you're missing out. I have a customer that is a deck builder, or started off as a deck builder. They started making, outdoor backyard escapes. Well, they moved into doing bathroom and kitchen and basement remodels. Well, with their list, they're able to say, hey, everybody, we did your deck over the last decade, but we also do kitchens and bathrooms. We don't know if you knew that. So being able to communicate new things, new offerings to your list is really important. And it's also a great way to remind people you exist. You're not going to get referrals unless you tell people, hey, we remember us? We did your deck. We would love your friends. Or we have this new special coming out. Or did you hear about this new deck cover we have that is really cool? There's so many things you can do with your customer list. And if you're ever selling your business, the buyer should be asking how many people are on your email list, how many people are within your CRM. So part of building a list is getting a good CRM, something that you can refer back to and use for keeping in touch with your clients, that you can use to keep track of what contact you've had with them, what have you said to them over the years. And you can even segment it. So you could say, okay, these are customers that we built a website for. And do they know that we do SEO? Do they know that we have paid ad campaigns and programs? Like, make sure that people know what you have available. Make sure you're communicating with them. I use my email list to educate so that I can teach people more about marketing. So things like this, where I can help new businesses know where to start, what to do before they get to paid ads. The next step is to make a plan, because if you're just like, I'm going to run ads and people are going to call me, it's just not how it works. You've got to make sure you know who you're talking to, why they would do business with you. Then you got to figure out where they hang out. So if you're going for a high-end clientele, they're probably hanging out in a different place than somebody who's looking for services in a different place than somebody who's looking for discounts, right? So think about where that person is. Think about how to touch them on multiple touch points. Get multiple channels going at once so you can get them to see you and hear from you in more ways than one, and do all of that before you run paid ads. Once you get to paid ads, that's great. Now you can run ads, but you'll also be testing and qualifying those. Are they hitting your target audience? Are they getting the right people to click through to your website? Are those people converting? You've got to give the platforms time to get things right, and they will hone in on these things, but you need to know what you're doing beforehand, and you should do all of these things before you ever pay for an ad. I highly recommend that. So if you need help with it, you can talk to us. We do these things for people all day long, every day. We can help with any step in this tunnel or in this funnel pyramid thing. You can get some free tools from ryanspeltz.marketing and click on free tools or scan that little QR code, and you can check them out. So hopefully that helps, and we'll talk to you soon.